When the Minnesota Vikings cut right guard Josh Kline just 1 year into his 3-year free agency deal, frankly, it was pretty shocking, mainly because Josh Kline had been one of the top performing offensive linemen in 2019 and also wasn't making a whole lot of money, right? But the Vikings approached him about a pay cut. He was like, no, and then the Vikings axed him, so now he's a free agent. But now, as free agency wraps up, as the draft comes along as well, that will come and go. Is it possible that the Vikings could bring back Josh Kline this offseason, get the band back together? I think it certainly is a possibility. So background. Vikings signed Josh Kline last year, free agent from the Tennessee Titans, formerly of the New England Patriots, Kent State, I think, whatever. 3-year, $15.5 million deal last offseason. Started at right guard right away. Missed a couple of games due to injuries, but overall played solid. And it was surprising when they went all Alex Boone on him. Like after 1 year, 3-year deal, you're gone, right? But first, this is important. First, they approached him about a pay cut. So it isn't so much that they didn't want him. If so, that would have been just a cut, moving like bye, deuces, whatever. So they approached him as like, hey, we want you at a lower price. So there obviously is still some interest in Josh Kline from the front office, but obviously he said no. Him and his agent thought, all right, maybe we'll get we'll get a better deal on the open market. But again, what if the market says no? I mean, he's been out there a couple weeks already. I think teams are really hunkered down now looking towards the draft. And even though Josh Kline, because he was cut, wouldn't necessarily affect compensatory pick compensation, I mean, he's just floating out there, right? So Josh Kline, 30 years old and coming off a season where he missed games due to concussions and injuries. So the fact that he can't get in because of the Rona for a physical or neurological test or whatever at these team facilities, it's probably the main reason why he's just chilling out there, right? But plus most teams, like I said, waiting for the draft, see what happens. So I think if Josh Kline signs anywhere, it will be after the draft, including here with the Vikings. So I could see a scenario where the Vikings, even if they come away with some high-end interior offensive line players, either on day 2, day 3, etc., I could still see a world where they do bring Josh Kline back on a relatively minimal 1-year deal, because he was legit solid last year. He's third in the team with a 67.7 PFF pass blocking grade, only allowed 22 pressures and 2 sacks. Compare that to Pat Elflein, 38 pressures, 8 sacks. No bueno there, right? So we know who the better guard for the Vikings. But actually, Josh Kline is the best guard for the Vikings the past 2 years. Because remember, coming straight out of Compton, as well as Mike Remmers 2 years ago. Woof. Yeah, so reapproaching Josh Kline, and also Ben Gessling, Star Tribune, pointed out that it could be a possibility as well. So start something small with Josh Kline, something incentive-laden, say a 1-year, $2 million deal with playing time bonuses up to $3.5 million. I feel like it sounds fair. He gets to potentially recoup near the amount that he was going to be looking at for 2020, and also little to no guarantee on the Viking spot. So if he comes into camp and he's beaten up by the young kids, or say he's even outperformed by some of the other veterans that are available, no harm, no foul for the Vikings there, because I don't think that a team will come in and just hand him a starting job, especially with that draft coming up and the fact that he's sitting out there right now in not extremely high demand. I don't think that he will come in and swoop in a starting job for a team right away. So this may be the best opportunity for Kline presently, right? So he knows the offense. It's similar system to what it was last year. Well, I mean, the run game with Kubiak, it is what it was last year. Let's call it spade a spade. Plus, the chemistry is already developed with Bradbury, O'Neal, Rick Dennison. That is valuable as well. So it could be like a mini version of what happened with Treadwell last year. After he got cut, 53-man cuts, he looked around the league. He had a couple workouts here and there, but he decided, like, hey, even though it's sort of humiliating and humbling, I'm going to go back to Minnesota because I know the system. It's going to give me my best chance to succeed. And then I'll go elsewhere after this one season, take my lumps and do that. And you saw the Treadwell signing with Falcons now. Josh Kline could see this. All right, so 1 year in a system I know. Yeah, it's not exactly the money that I wanted. I would have preferred to stay on my long-term deal with the Vikings. But if I can prove myself yet again for year 2, if I can stay completely healthy, I can get a decent free agency deal next year as well, whether it be here with the Vikings, whether it be somewhere else. I can show off my wares a little bit, a nice little 1-year prove-it deal for Josh Kline. And I think it does make sense for everyone involved. I mean, like, I would prefer Kline at $2 million to Dakota Dozier at the league minimum, but at that point, it's whatever. But I do think Kline returning certainly is an option that is on the table and one that I'm actively rooting for. But your thoughts? Josh Kline returning to the Vikings, question mark? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work? Pull us up on the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. Until next time. Skull, production value.